some families do all kinds of stuff for Easter. They'll get dressed up, they buy special outfits and things like that, but my family never did that. Now, I will say that when my kids were small, I did more with them as far as Easter goes than my mom did for my brother and me. I remember, I don't know that we ever got like an Easter basket of candy. We might have. I think usually she would just buy some jelly beans and some Peeps and just give them to us. And then that was basically it. But as far as like doing a lot, as far as going to Easter egg hunts and church stuff, we didn't really do a lot of that. I remember there were several years that I had a collection of plastic Easter eggs, and I would go out and buy Easter candy, and I would fill some of the eggs, and we would do an Easter egg hunt like in the backyard or something like that. Or I would do some in the backyard and some in the front, and then have them go around the house looking for the eggs. I remember I bought these Easter eggs this one year when they were really small, and they were camouflage. They were green. They were like green and black camouflage eggs, and I learned from that you don't put those in the grass because nobody can see them, and then you're not going to remember where you put them, and you will find them later when you mow the yard because you'll run over them, and just pieces of plastic and candy will go everywhere, and for a split second you'll be confused going, wait, what did I just hit? And then you'll realize what it was. Yeah, I hated those camouflage eggs because there's really, if you're doing an Easter egg hunt outside, there's really nowhere you can put them that they don't almost immediately become invisible. So I didn't buy any more of those. I tried to buy ones that would stand out more, which is easy because there are so many different colors and designs of plastic Easter eggs that you can get. And then I would just reuse them every year. Like I would just save them and then use them every year. And I had this giant Target bag full of Easter eggs because sometimes we would go to Easter egg hunts around, the churches around town will do Easter egg hunts. Of course, with COVID, I don't know if they're going to do that. I know they didn't do it last year. I don't know if they're doing it this year or not. I have not heard of any. But I don't have little kids, so I'm not really looking for that kind of information. But they would come home with more plastic Easter eggs from those, and we would just add them to the collection. So I ended up with this enormous Target bag full of plastic eggs. We probably had over 100. It's probably closer to 200. And it was kind of a sad day when I realized, they've outgrown this kind of stuff. They're really not interested in doing an Easter egg hunt anymore. I knew they had outgrown it. This was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. It might have been around the time we moved into this house, which was almost 4 years ago now, which is hard to believe. Is that right? Yeah, wow, in July it'll be 4 years. That's crazy. I guess it was around the time we moved in here that they both said, Mom, can you just give us the candy? Can we please just have the candy? Do we have to do an Easter egg hunt? Like they didn't enjoy it anymore. That was sad. I remember I had kept the big bag of Easter eggs. It was a sad day when I took that bag and dropped it off at Goodwill. Like I donated it. Somebody else can use them. I mean, they were all still in good shape, And that was a sad day. When you realize your kids are outgrowing all that fun little kid stuff, it's kind of sad in a way, but it's part of life. They grow up and move on to other things, so you have to let them grow up. But that was sort of sad. but she hid them in the house. I remember we did an Easter egg hunt in the house because one of the Easter eggs, and they were real eggs, one of them got left in my brother's room somewhere, and I think they were hard-boiled eggs, but it was rotten. It rotted because nobody found it. And I remember her getting really mad about that, like it was our fault somehow. So she said we were not going to hide those anymore. So I think the second time we dyed eggs, we didn't hide them or anything. I don't know what she did with them, but so she had like a dozen hard-boiled eggs. She could probably make egg salad with them or something. I don't know. But when I was a kid, see now, if you want to dye Easter eggs, there are all these crazy kits you can get. You can dye them all sorts of different ways. You can do glitter eggs, tie-dyed eggs, unicorn eggs. I mean, there are just all these really cool egg dyeing kits, you know. No, when I was a kid, there was none of that. You had the Pause kit, you know, the one that just had the little colored the tabs, the different colors. And there might have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 different colors. And you would just take little cups and put vinegar in there. Was it just vinegar, or was it vinegar and water? I can't remember. But for me, every time I smell vinegar, it makes me think of Easter. It always smells like Easter to me. So you put the little tab in there, and then, okay, the kits that we got did not have anything to hold the egg with, so my mom would take a wire coat hanger and cut it, and bend it around and make a little thing with like a handle and the little piece that you would set the egg on so you could dip it in the dye. And I remember no matter how she made it, you could never get the egg back out of the cup. It would flop over, like you would lift it up and then it would just sort of fall out of the cup. And she would get frustrated. I do remember dyeing eggs twice, and I always thought that was so cool, how you could make them all those pretty colors. I enjoyed that. I wish we had done it more. I can remember asking to do it and her saying maybe later, and I don't want to, or I don't have the stuff, and she just didn't want to be bothered with it. I have dyed eggs with my kids. We did that several times, and we tried. I think we did tie-dye eggs once, and then we got a kit that had it was supposed to make glitter eggs. I remember it didn't go very well. I remember thinking they didn't look very sparkly or glittery at all. I mean, I was kind of disappointed in the glitter egg kit. Maybe we did it wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I always loved doing Easter baskets for my kids. And then, you know, when they were in daycare or they were in school, wherever they were, there would always be some sort of little party or something, either at the daycare or at the school. And it was always kind of fun to sign up to bring things. You know, you could bring cupcakes or bags of candy or plastic eggs, you know, something. I always loved doing that. And the kids would usually, like when they were in daycare, they would do an Easter egg hunt in the enclosed area outside. So they were always looking for parents to bring in either goodie bags or plastic eggs or candy that would fit in the eggs, things like that. Or, you know, to donate like inexpensive small Easter baskets for the Easter egg hunt, things like that. I always enjoyed doing that. I miss those days. I really do. It was a lot of fun. So, but yeah, I do remember once we did something kind of like an Easter egg hunt at my house when I was little. And my mom, I remember she bought a bag of these, they're called Easter hunt eggs. They're from Brock's, and you can still get them. I know, because my older son and I just polished off a whole bag of them. There aren't a lot in there, but we ate every one of them because they're so good. They're these little they're candies that are about that big, and they're shaped kind of like an Easter egg, but it's flat. It has a flat inside is this super dense marshmallow stuff. They're my favorite. I think honestly, I think I like those better than Peeps, even stale Peeps, which are wonderful. The Brock's Easter Hunt eggs. I think those are my favorite Easter candy, and I still say Easter has the best candy of all the holidays. It totally does. But so my mom bought a bag of these Easter Hunt eggs, and back then I remember you can get them either individually wrapped or unwrapped. I think now they're all individually wrapped, but she bought some of the ones that were wrapped, and she hid them. I remember she hid them around the side yard of the house. And my dad had a friend with two boys that were about my age, and they came over. I remember because they had just moved down here from Pittsburgh, and I remember telling my mom I thought they talked funny. I said they talk weird, but they thought we sounded funny too, so. But they came down and they would come over and play a lot with my brother and me. it was huge. It was so big. I mean, there was, they spent, I think they spent a pretty good amount of money getting all the stuff to go in that basket, and I was very, very happy. I couldn't believe I won that. I tried to draw, I tried to get better at drawing, but I was never, like, super good at drawing. Now, my brother, oh my goodness, he can really draw. Well, he used to draw a lot, and he loved to draw birds. I think birds were his favorite thing to draw. But I don't think he kept up with it, and he used to go and get modeling clay, and we had this book, and I still have it, of birds. I think it was called Birds of the World, and it had these beautiful illustrations of all different types of birds in this book, and he would pick out a picture, and then he would take his modeling clay, and he would just spend hours sculpting a bird to look like the picture, and he would use a toothpick to do, the feathers and little details, and he would just spend hours on it. They were beautiful. I never had the patience for that kind of thing. I would just make a little snake with the modeling clay and then wander off and go do something else. That was about all I had the patience for, but yeah, he's very talented. And my younger son can really draw. He's very good. He's really good at perspectives and proportions of things. He's really, I could never draw like that. No matter how hard I tried, I could never draw like that. So I encourage him to keep doing that, I hope he sticks with it. He said he wants to be a graphic designer when he grows up, so I don't know. We'll see what he does. But, yeah, so I have, well, my favorite memory of Easter, of course, is that Easter basket, and winning that was just such a wow. I mean, and all the kids in my class were just, oh, wow, that's awesome, because it wasn't just, I went to a little church school, and there were only, in fact, when we graduated 5th grade, there were only 10 of us in the whole 5th grade, so there weren't many people, in my school, but we were also competing against the local public elementary school, so I don't know how many entries they got, but I was pretty proud that I won. I wish I still had the drawing, but I think the toy store kept all the drawings. We didn't get our drawings back. That was very exciting. That was really wonderful. I think that is probably my favorite childhood Easter memory. But I tried with my kids to do more so they could enjoy stuff more with holidays and things like that. Take them and go see fireworks and, do things at Christmas. And, oh well, Thanksgiving we don't do a lot, but really nobody in my family really ever did anything for Thanksgiving. My dad's parents both died when I was really small. I don't remember them. My mom's parents didn't do anything for Thanksgiving at all. My parents we didn't do anything. I mean, it was like a non-event in my life. Nobody cared. So, the most my mom would do, she would go buy a turkey breast and bake that. But my dad hates turkey, so she would have to make a separate meal for him. And she might get a can of cranberry sauce. That was about it. That was the extent of our Thanksgiving. But I always look forward to watching the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special, although this past year at Thanksgiving, I watched that with my younger son, and at the end of it, I said, God, that was kind of depressing. I don't know, something about the end of the Thanksgiving Charlie Brown special is kind of depressing. I said, I don't know what it is. There's just something that's just kind of a downer at the end of that cartoon. I never really noticed that before, but it's kind of a bummer, honestly. But I love the Charlie Brown. I think chance to see the great pumpkin, and every year I thought it would, maybe this time you'll get to see it, maybe it'll be different. It's funny when you're a kid, you know, you're so full of wonder and so full of hope, and then we all die inside. I guess we just grow up. But yeah, I guess I'm not really doing anything for Easter. I should probably, maybe I'll get them some candy. If nothing else, I will at least let them have some candy. I feel like I should at least do that. I just have to keep from eating it all myself because I love Easter candy. Now, the Easter hunt eggs, I have seen them at Walmart. Walmart didn't used to carry them, but I noticed, I think it was about 2 years ago, they started to carry the Easter hunt eggs, but you really have to look for them. You have to hunt for the Easter hunt eggs. I have seen them in places like Walgreens or CVS. They're kind of hard to find sometimes. Now, if you're really ambitious, you can go on Amazon and pay a lot of money for a bag of them, but God, they're expensive on there. You can get a bag of them at Walmart for less than $3, but the same bag on Amazon, you can get a pack of 2, and I think it's like $13. I don't want them that bad. I mean, I like them, but I don't like them that much. So, I don't know. I wanted to find one more bag of them, but now I can't find them anywhere. I think a lot of people really love them, and they just buy them all up. I have not bought any Peeps this year. Like, I haven't bought a single package of Peeps this year. I don't know. It's like, I think I just kind of got burnt out on Peeps. There was one year I ate so many, and then I just got kind of tired of them. I have some in the cabinet downstairs in the kitchen from last year, and I know they're super stale by now. Maybe too stale. I don't know. After a while, they just get really hard, and they're just a little bit too stale. It's not like they go bad. I mean, they're just sugar. They are sugar-coated sugar. That's all they are. Not a health food. I don't care. I love them. Sweets are my Achilles heel. I can resist anything else. I don't care. But sweets, oh my gosh, I have such a sweet tooth. It will be my undoing one of these days. But yeah, I guess if I want to get any more Easter candy of any sort, I should probably get on that. And yeah, so that's basically it. I am wearing my vintage Wrangler. Well, you could either call it a lightweight jacket or a heavy shirt. I found this at Goodwill. It's like a 70s Wrangler jacket shirt thing. I love it. It's really thick, but it's also very soft and comfortable. So I've been wearing this around today. The weather has been really weird lately. One day it'll be really hot, the next day it's chilly. It's that weird in-between period between winter and spring, and the weather can't quite decide what it wants to do from one knew somehow how much to put in there, and it was always good. She would just kind of dump some in there and stir it around, and then she would look at it for a minute, and sometimes she would dump a little bit more and stir it around. She just somehow knew how much to put in there. She was not one to measure stuff. But her food was always really good, so I guess she knew what she was doing. So, yeah, I haven't thought about stewed blackberries in a long time. I should do that. I should go find some. Well, it's too early now. It's on over in the summertime that you can pick blackberries. It's too early now. They're just starting to bloom right now. They get these little white blooms on them. And then later, when the blackberries start to come out, they're red. They actually look like little raspberries. They're small and red. You can't eat them like that. They're hard as a rock and very bitter. You can't eat them. But later on, they plump up, you know. And then you can go out and just pick blackberries all day and get torn up by the briars.